Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Darnock with TGN bringing you another StarCraft 2 1 vs 1 cast. We have another replay series from Battle of Berlin. And today we do have Goody versus TLO. TLO, of course, this time has once again switched over to playing Zerg. This guy switches races so much. He's ping-ponged back and forth from Terran to Zerg to random at least 6 or 7 times since the release of StarCraft 2. He's changed races officially for tournament play, but this is his first tournament since switching back to Zerg. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does play. Actually, I've not been watching his stream very much, so I am very intrigued as to see how Zerg does treat him and why he has decided to switch back over to that. His opponent is going to be Goody. He's the red Terran player. For those of you who are not familiar with Goody, he is one of those really strong European players that people don't really hear about too much just because he doesn't win a whole lot of stuff, like as far as big championships go, like a MLG or stuff like that, but he's very, very solid, consistently places very, very highly. And I think TLO might be streaming this or something. I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, Goody's a very good player, very, very strong. For those of you who do not know him, he is German, I think. I think both of these guys are German, actually, which is kind of fun. Goody, of course, known as the Panzer General, because he is all about mech play. He does mech every single game. The reasoning for that is he has really, really low APM. Like, if we take a look at his APM right now, you see he has an average of 30 APM, and he's spamming right now. So his APM is way down in the dumps, and already we see some of TLO's creative play. We saw that engineering bay going down to block that hatchery, and TLO says, you know what? You, sir, are not going to delay my natural expansion no matter what. So he's just going to throw down that hatchery. Now, I want you guys to take note. This hatchery is actually not blocking the optimal position for a hatchery whatsoever. So he's going to get this up. He's going to take this down, and then he's going to throw down another hatchery in the optimal position. And then he'll just have this be a macro hatchery. So it's not completely ridiculous or anything like that. Actually, it's something we've seen cats do before. And then maybe TLO even did it way back when he was Zerg originally. I actually don't quite remember. But that's something you can't deny TLO. He is a very creative guy. Some might say insane. I like to say creative because it's a little bit nicer. And it looks as if the engineering bay, that SCV, got back onto it. So it has a lot of health. Going to take quite a while for TLO to be able to burn that down, so definitely nice for Goody. But as I was saying, Goody, he does go mech because, again, he has a very, very low APM, and he feels like the mech style does suit a low APM player a little bit better than a marine tank or something like that. That requires a lot more micro, a lot more multitasking, sending drops every which way and stuff like that. As it is right now, you can just sit back, macro up off of a couple bases, and then just go for a nice maxed Hellion tank Thor push. And that's very, very hard to stop, no matter who you are. And I'd have to say, I think this is a pretty good map for it. Now, as far as the win ratios go, Zerg has a 55% win rate on this map against Terran, and Terran only has, of course, a 45% win rate against Zerg. So obviously, Goody has a little bit of adversity to overcome in that regard, but this is actually a pretty good map for going mech. I think if Terrans went mech on this map a lot more, it would actually work out a lot better because obviously you have a natural down here that's pretty easy to defend. It's at the top of the ramp. And what you can actually do is if you push out over here with a mech army, siege up your tanks, have your Hellions in the area, a couple Thors to defend against Mutalisks, it's pretty easy to hold this third base right here, especially if you just put a couple more tanks up on the high ground, so it's very difficult for the Zerg player to really break down these rocks. You can get onto 3 bases pretty easily. And a 3-base Terran just sitting back and maxing out is a very, very scary thing for a Zerg. So hopefully that's what we'll see Goody do in this game. I do think that is certainly the correct way to play things out. And he's actually going for a 1-1-1 opening, which is pretty interesting. Normally he opens 2 pretty quick Hellions, or 2 factories rather, to build Hellions. But not going for that. This build, that Hellion is the first one going to be scouring across the map. Oh, and it does find those Zerglings. A good micro from TLO, though. Look at that. Not losing too many Zerglings in one blast. Definitely making that Hellion work for its kills, but obviously Hellions are pretty good against Zerglings without their speed upgrade. So this final Zergling is going to go down. Now, what does TLO have at home to defend against this? He does have a couple of queens, spawning quite a few creep tumors, really spreading that creep very quickly. 3 tumors on the way right now. So they're going to be in the area to defend against this Hellion popping up. We do see that the third hatchery going down where the natural usually does appear is being built right now for TLO, so those drones will mine just a little bit more efficiently. And TLO actually, again, playing a little bit strangely. He is up to a total of 4 queens. And what is this madness? Goody, he's building Marines. He's not opening mech. What madness is this? Now, I'm pretty sure he is going to transition into mech. I don't see him departing from his style that much. But he's actually opening with a Marine drop, which is super surprising to me. I don't think I've ever seen Goody do anything like this before. Obviously, it's not super creative in the overall scheme of things, the Terran metagame or anything like that. This is pretty standard, but for Goody to do this, it is a little bit surprising. Now, for those of you who did not see yesterday's cast, quick disclaimer, I do have a new mouse, so I am adjusting to the sensitivity. I'm a lot more used to it than I was yesterday. That was actually a train wreck as far as observing went. It was so bad. So it is better, but there still might be some wild camera pans and stuff like that. Now, Goody dropping into the main with his Marines and his Hellions, dealing quite a few damage over here. These Queens are going to have to back off. These Marines don't have any upgrades, I don't think. No, they do not. None on the way either, so they aren't the most scary Marines, but they're still pretty strong. This is great positioning from Goody right now. You see it's going to be very difficult for TLO to be able to get a solid surround whatsoever. Hellions in the back going to be able to shoot away at the Zerglings easy peasy, and TLO going to take a lot of damage here. Looks as if he is going to be able to push this away eventually, as most of the Hellions have fallen. The Marines aren't that scary without the Hellion support, but they still are going to be able to kill one Queen. Yes, it does go down. TLO not quite able to micro that effectively, and there we go. The medevac does fall. The Marines are going to get cleaned up, and that is going to be that. And I want to take a look at the resources lost tab. We do see that Goody did get the better part of that deal right there. That's not what I was looking for. Was he able to kill very many workers? No, it was just a couple queens and lings that went down there. But still was a lot of wasted larvae. We do see TLO moving out for a counterattack now. However, obviously the wall off is not going to fall to this. He is not having a Baneling's Nest, I don't believe. Yes, no Baneling Nest on the field. So really all they're going to be able to do is deny this command center for a while, which, to be fair, isn't too bad at all. Keeping a Terran on one base actually feels pretty good, especially because now this isn't even an orbital command, so the orbital command is going to be late, which means Goody is going to miss out on a lot of mules and all that sort of thing. Now, behind this, he has gone for a starport. He built a tech lab on that starport, and it's actually just finishing researching Cloak for a Banshee. And we see that there are going to be 2 Banshees that are about to move into the Zerg base, and this is something TLO probably does not expect. This isn't really something that we see frequently followed up with after a drop, so he's not really going to see this coming. He does have an Evo chamber out that did just pop, actually building a second one, so he is going to be able to build some spore crawlers, but for the time being, these Banshees are going to rain terror all over the Zerg force. You see they're just using their powers together, one-shotting all of those drones. Well, now they aren't target firing anymore, but still killing quite a few drones. They could DPS these Queens down very, very quickly if they wanted to, and I'm not seeing a spore crawler go up. There is an Overseer in the area, but both of those Banshees are going to escape with their lives, and there isn't really a whole lot that TLO can do about that. So taking a look at that workers kill tab once again, yes, we see that go from 0 kill to over 10, exactly 12 in fact. I'm not sure why I didn't just say 12. My brain decided to troll me a little bit there, but that's certainly nothing to sneeze at whatsoever. He still is behind on workers, but now he's only about 10 behind rather than over 20. And there we go. He's going to throw up another command center immediately. Really wants to get on that strong 3-base economy that is oh so scary. Now, something that TLO's doing that's pretty interesting is he's actually just chilling on 2 bases. Normally we would see a 3rd base up already for a Zerg player, but he's just holding back. He does have 3 hatcheries, so he does have a lot of production. He just doesn't have as large an economy as we usually do see, and a large part of that is because of the harass that Goody has been applying to TLO. First we saw the drop. Wow, he actually has 3 Banshees out on the field now. But first we saw the drop, and then we saw that Banshee harass, and that has been slowing down TLO's game plan thus far, and he just hasn't really had the drones to expand because he's been losing them. He's been sacrificing larvae to build lings to defend against that initial drop and all that sort of thing. So Goody already with a slight advantage, I would say. Nothing super major or anything like that, but he's feeling pretty good about how this game is unfolding thus far. Now, we saw him send in that 3rd Banshee, only got a couple of kills. There is a Spore Crawler over here at the natural, or at the main rather, hanging out. The Overseer is covering the natural, so that is good for him. And we do see that 3rd base is going up right now. Goody, though, with a wisely placed Hellion right there, is going to spot it. Roaches do end up taking it out, but not before it has already reported back to base. It did make use of that walkie-talkie headset and has told Goody exactly what is going on at that 3rd of TLO. So that is going to trigger Goody to start wanting to expand here pretty quickly. He really wants to try and stay on equal bases. That would be absolutely fantastic for him. And he should be able to do that relatively soon. He is getting his production up and running. Very, very solid. He has 4 factories. 3 of them very soon are going to have tech labs. One of them does have the reactor to produce those Hellions. He has not researched Infernal Pre-Igniter yet. I don't know if he plans on it. I know he always used to back in the day, but I don't think I've really seen Goody play too much since the nerf to Blue Flame, so maybe he just doesn't think it's worth it anymore. Nope, he is getting it, it's just a little bit later. But now this, again, TLO, he is out of control, man. Going for a roach drop, something we really never see in TvZ, but there it is. He's going to be going for it. Even bringing this Overseer along for some reason. Maybe he's going to try and contaminate the factories. Oh, but it gets focused down immediately. Goody had quite a few Vikings in the area, but all the roaches do get dropped before the Overlords are taking out. It's just not going to be, there's not going to be a retreat path for TLO right here. Moves those roaches over into the mineral line, and now we do see Goody bring all of his units back. He should be able to clean this up relatively easily. I mean, yeah, roaches are pretty good against Marines, but there are tanks, there's a Thor, and I think Goody should be pretty okay with this. He even has those 2 Banshees, which are actually doing so much DPS, so TLO's drop basically crushed right there. Now some roaches are going to go for a counterattack up into the natural, but still Goody does have some defense in the area, and he does kill a few SCVs here and there. Really not going to be a whole lot. TLO actually rallying a bunch of units up here. Those are going to have to turn around here pretty quickly, or he can just drop some more. That works too, I suppose. He might be trying to drop onto these siege tanks for some splash damage. But Goody is going to unsiege. He is too smart for that. The Overlord goes down. A few of those roaches did make it out. They are going to fall pretty quickly, though, to the combined fire of the tanks as well. And that's going to end TLO's aggression, and I have to say, really wasn't worth it. Didn't really deal a whole lot of damage. He killed 5 SCVs, which is something, I guess, but obviously not as much as he wanted. And these Overlords are going to have to turn around quick if they don't want to lose their lives. And there we go. TLO does notice them, pulls them back. Looks like there has been a burrowed Zergling getting in the way of this orbital command. Goody brings over his units, but apparently, there we go, there's the scan, okay. Brings over the units, kills that Zergling, and now this base will be able to get up and running. Goody moving out with his Blue Flame Hellions, does get caught by some Lings and Roaches, some micro back and forth there from both players. TLO's creep spread absolutely ridiculous right now. He got an early start on that and has been keeping it up all game long, so cool play from him right there. But oh no, look at this. A bunch of Overlords are spotted by Vikings in the middle of the map. At the same time, we see TLO moving forward with all these Lings, wants to try and take out this third. I don't really think it's going to happen, though, and yeah, no, it certainly will not, as these Blue Flame Hellions come around and start roasting everything in their paths. Now, some of TLO's Lings have burrowed, and Goody may not have noticed in the heat of the moment. Plus, TLO was able to kill the 2 or 3, I think it was just 2 siege tanks that were defending this, so nice little pick off from there. Certainly worth the Zerglings. I mean, they're cheap, you get 2 per larva, so it's okay to sacrifice them in ways like that. Now, TLO does have a 4th base on the way. I'm pretty sure these Vikings have not spotted it. No, they have not. So Goody a little bit in the dark right there for the time being, and the missile turret about to finish. Soon all of these units are going to be detected, and there they all get roasted once again. Those burrowed Zerglings not able to survive for too terribly long. These Vikings are actually doing a lot of damage, way more than they generally do. 5 kills, 4 kills, 5 kills, 2 kills. These Vikings are Overlord killing machines, plus Goody has been using them very well. They're keeping tabs on the Zerg army, flying around, keeping the map, not map control, but map awareness and sight. So those Vikings actually really helping Goody out more than we usually do see. Now he does have a Banshee that is going to be moving towards this area right here. It is on move command, but there we go. Goody has taken manual control of that Banshee. He sees exactly what's going on over here. Those drones are going to save themselves with that Spore Crawler morph. They do regain more health than they lose when the Banshee is shooting at them. So Goody is just going to have that Banshee attack whatever it pleases for the time being. Now, I think we're going to see another drop here from TLO, and yeah, we do see the Overlords moving over a good amount of Roaches, some Lings as well. However, the majority of Goody's army is over here. He has a couple of Siege Tanks, a Banshee, some Marines, a Thor, a second Banshee, a Medivac, Blue Flame Hellions. He actually has so much stuff here, so I really don't see this drop doing very much damage whatsoever. Maybe they'll be able to take out a few of these mules that just landed. This mule is actually super lazy, and oh, missile turret does deflect the Overlord drop from Goody, and or from TLO rather, and oh man, these Vikings, they have seen their prey from that missile turret, and how many of these Overlords are going to go down. One falls. More Vikings coming in from the north. I wish that you could actually see how many of each individual unit was killed per game, because that would actually be insane. TLO has lost so many Overlords this game and is continuing to lose them. Vikings are still faster than Overlords, even with that speed upgrade. So it looks as if TLO here might lose almost every single Overlord. That final one does go down. TLO now at 200 supply out of 170. Things really not looking good for him. However, some Infestors come out over here, going to try and save the remaining Overlord's life. And there we go. Those Vikings are going to be scared away. And we actually do have an Ultralisk Cavern, right? That's what it's called. Okay. I doubted myself there for a moment. We do have an Ultralisk Cavern on the way for our Zerg player right now. And Ultralisks can be pretty good against what Goody is going. So we'll see how that does turn out. But Goody, though, he's maxed out. He's ready to start pushing, and I'm not sure TLO is going to be able to defend this. He has 1-2 on those Roaches. All of the vehicles have +2, +0. These Banshees, I don't know what upgrades they have because I'm bad at selecting things. They have 0-0, but that's okay. Big Fungal does go down onto the Terran army, and Goody getting oh so aggressive over here. TLO is supply blocked once again, not going to be able to build anything until these 5 Overlords pop out 25 seconds from now, and I don't see how this hatchery is going to be able to stay alive. TLO looks like it was considering going for a drop, decided against it, which is really wise. Those Overlords are pretty bunched up, and with all the anti-air in Goody's army, that would have been very, very nasty indeed. Now Goody continuing to push forward. He does not care. He wants this game over with. He wants to kill TLO. Now, good Fungals are going down on Goody's army right now, really reducing the power of it. But Goody's still at 172 supply compared to 148 of TLO. This base completely not mining. I think a lot of drones died there. Yes, 37 workers have been killed thus far for Goody. So TLO just holding back, trying to make something happen. That was weird. The game lagged for a second. I heard a bunch of beeps. I'm not sure how much of that Fraps caught, but that was actually very, very strange indeed. But nonetheless, I think this game might be ending here. TLO just looks like he is in so much trouble. He does have about the same army supply, but as we all know, Zerg armies tend not to be quite as strong as Terran armies, just due to the fact that it's a lot easier to remax them. And here comes the final charge from TLO. Wants to try and drop all of the units onto the siege tanks of Goody. This might work, but even if it does, things are going to get pretty nasty here. And oh my goodness, look at this. All the Zerg units that are getting dropped get cleaned up immediately by the mechanized force of Goody right here. Some Ultralisks do pop out finally. Going to be able to tear through those Hellions. And actually, these two Ultralisks are total bosses, killing so many things. And is TLO actually going to be able to stabilize here? It looks as if he is, and good job for him, but he is now severely hamstrung. If we take a look at the Harvester count, we see he's now down to 62 drones compared to 75 SCVs. 3 base to 3 base, obviously not too good for the Zerg player. Looks as if Goody trying to take a 4th base over here, but the creep spread blocking that from being optimally placed, and it looks as if this is going to have to get lifted up if Goody does not want to lose it, as he does not really have enough to be able to comfortably move out across the map quite yet. Looks as if Goody has just given up on that orbital command. It does go down. I'm not sure what these Hellions think they're going to do. They're going for a harass run. They want to go kill all the units at this, what used to be the 4th base, was now the 3rd. And oh man, these Hellions catching a bunch of drones in motion here. So many units dying, both Zerglings and drones going down. More Hellions making it over here, and they're going to start roasting some drones of their own. There are a couple Queens, so this is going to get cleaned up relatively quickly, but not before a lot of drones go down. TLO down to a mere 48 drones compared to 75 SCVs now. And things are getting pretty gross for him. He is supply blocked once again. These Vikings, total badasses of the sky. There's a Viking here with 23 kills. Let me try and select it again. They move too quickly. Oh my goodness, that Viking is such a baller. Goody better bring him home and repair him. He needs to take care of this Viking. It has earned it. There are more Blue Flame Hellions moving to the 3rd base over here of TLO. However, very wisely, he has brought his Queens over here to defend. This Queen actually has a whole bunch of transfuses, so they're going to be able to hold the line right here against these Blue Flame Hellions until the Ultralisks come to clean them up. So good thinking there from TLO, but TLO has just gotten supply blocked so many times this game. This is the game of slain Overlords. Now it looks as if TLO trying to go for a little bit of a poke here, doesn't really want to engage us. There is actually a silly number of siege tanks out here for a Goody right now, and that is going to crush basically whatever TLO does. Unless he somehow is able to tech switch into mutas, or not mutas, but broodlords, I think TLO is going to have some trouble for the rest of this game. And no! One fungal could kill this Viking. Actually, one attack from a drone could kill this Viking. Luckily, it is going to survive for just a little longer, but oh no! The baller Viking has died. I'm actually so sad now. Hopefully his two teammates will continue to keep his legacy alive. Now Goody going to take a 4th base over here. This is going to be very difficult to hold, obviously. Basically, he was hoping that this would go unnoticed by TLO. However, TLO is no chump. He does have a roach in the area, and it's already going to start attacking away at this command center. And nothing that Goody can really do about that. Basically, he just needs to lift it up and take it back home. However, we saw how little he cares for his command centers after we saw what happened to that gold base. Oh, but Goody going to be able to make it over here with his Blue Flame Hellions once again. A couple Queens and Ultralisks in the area, and there actually aren't really enough drones here to make this worth their while. So those Hellions going to die for no real great reason. But, oh my goodness, again, the Vikings have supply block TLO for at least the 4th time this game. On the other side, Goody is maxed out. He has a whole bunch of units charging forward. Actually hasn't gotten any more upgrades. Whereas TLO's units are on 2-2 for the Ultras and 1-2 for the Roaches, but it's just not going to matter. Infestor's doing the best that they can, throwing down Infested Terran, building a bunch of casting a bunch of those fungal growths as well, but Goody just has too many things. So TLO does throw out the GG, and Goody's going to take game number 1 of this best of 3 series that for some reason is still going on. Okay, there we go.